Welcome to part 2 of the test positions on double attack. Now things will become a bit difficult in comparison to part 1. We'll be calculating a bit more. But I'm sure that when you tried head-net part 2, you must have definitely got the answers correctly if you had understood the examples. If not, just go back to the examples, also go through the test positions of part 1, and definitely you will be able to solve this position. And if at all you face a problem in any of the position, okay, you can leave that for the time being, go to the next position, and what you can do is come back to that position again. And once you have gained more experience, you will be definitely able to solve it. So now the position, the first one in part 2 is from the game Ragozin and Alatorsev. It is white to play, and now here double attack is brought about through a successive exchange. Let us see what is the advantage for white in this position. His bishop on f3 is hitting this. Of course, it is now adequately defended by this queen and the bishop. But here white can destroy this, eliminate this defender by playing queen captures b7. This forces rook captures b7, and now the idea is to go in for an exchange sacrifice. Rook captures e8, destroys the main defender on c6. This forces king into e8, otherwise white will be ahead on material count. And now here comes the double attack with the capture of the pawn on c6. So white can go a piece up if black moves his king out of the way. So this is not good. In fact, now black can try moving his rook to d7. And what do we see? The rook is now under pin and can be comfortably captured by white when the black king gets out of pin. So here white can improve his position with king e2, and only when say black has moved his king out of pin, say by playing king d8, then white can go for bishop into d7. After king into d7, he can play king to d3 and win this important pawn on d4. For example, here he can try king to c6 and now king into d4, and with a dangerous passer here on the a file. And though black has a majority of 3 versus 2 on the king side, here he will be required to stop the a passer of white, whereas white can simply make inroads with king e5 and king f6 and win the pawns over there. This majority is not so threatening, not so advanced so as to create a pass pawn, and black king will be required to stay within the zone of the white pawn. Otherwise, that pawn will become dangerous. So black resigned in this position. We now move on to position number 2, that is number 8 in part 2. It is white to play and win. This position is from the game between Hague and Vasaz. So here white starts the combination with rook captures e7, and now black is required to capture back, because otherwise white will go a piece up. So after king captures e7, white brings about a double attack with bishop captures c5, winning a pawn, and in the process the double attack also gets him back the rook he has sacrificed. After king e6, white goes a piece up with bishop captures b4 and will win the game comfortably. The third in this position is black to play and win. And now here we see rook to c1 is attacking the queen and threatening exchanges. But like if queen can move out with an attack on the king and bring about an attack on rook on c1, it will be double attack. So here the winning move is easy to guess. Queen to f4 check, and at the same time we now see rook on c8 and queen on f4 attacking the rook on c1 twice. It has got only one protection. After king moves out of check to g1, black is able to win material. Rook into c1, queen into c1, and now here again we see a double attack with queen into c1, checking the king and at the same time attacking the knight on a3. After queen f1, queen into a3, and we see black winning handsomely, comfortably. He has got an extra bishop and a beautiful pawn chain with no threat to his king and with two extra pawns. I hope you have been able to understand the proceedings so far. Now this example is really beautiful. It's a game from two unknown players, and though the double attack which we can see in this example is simple, but it shows how to simplify through a double attack and reach a comfortable ending. What we see is a rook and pawn ending. Both sides have got rook, and white has 6 pawns, black has 5. So already white is a pawn up. But how he can conclude this comfortably? Well, like such endings are really difficult to play if opponent is able to activate his rook, and then it requires a precise handling. But here, because of double attack that white is able to bring about, he simplifies this into a one ending. He starts with rook captures h6, winning a pawn. So now is 2 pawns up. This forces rook captures h6, and we see here again the same idea. Both the pieces of black, one file apart on the same rank. There is a pawn standing on the g file, which is keeps the two pieces file apart. So double attack comes through g5 with a check, and after king gets out of check, king g6, white recovers the rook with g captures h6. King captures h6, and the material position is as before where white was pawn up. But now there is difference. The rooks have been eliminated, and now white king makes inroads into the enemy camp. Previously this square was not available, but now with king e5, he will be winning the e6 pawn followed by d5 pawn and leading to a comfortable victory. We now move ahead. It is white to play, and how to take advantage of the exposed king. Here black king is a bit exposed. Yes, this file is open, but he has with this pawn on f5 been able to negate this bishop, which does not have an open diagonal to work on. But with a beautiful rook g4 sacrifice, he forces this line to open. Now this check requires black to capture it. F captures g4 is forced because king does not have a flight square to h8. And now white brings about a double attack, first with an intermediate check. He moves his queen to g5. This forces king to h8, and now white moves his queen to h6 with a double threat. Mate is threatened on h7 in support of the bishop on d3. At the same time, white is now threatening queen captures f8. This fantastic combination was executed by none other than Grandmaster Vlastimil Hort against Portish. Black resigned in this position. Concluding example in part 2 of pin. Here we can see like black exerting pressure on the D file. Both have their rooks doubled on this open file. But now here black is able to bring about a double attack first through a knight sacrifice. He plays knight f3 check, and what we see, a knight fork. So the sacrifice needs to be accepted. Black has options now. He can of course capture with the queen, but moment he captures with the queen, then he loses support to the rook on d2. So that's why he is forced to capture with the pawn. G captures f3, and now this exposes the king to a check. White brings about a double attack with queen g5 check, and what do we also see is a double attack on the rook on d2. In fact, now it is attacked thrice by black with rook on d6 and then the rook on d8 applying x-ray, as well the queen on g5. After white tries queen g2, here black has nothing to worry because his queen on g5 is protected by his pawn on f6. So black simply goes about with rook into d2, going comfortably ahead on material count, and here black won the game. So friends, we conclude the part 2 test positions of double attack. I will be back with part 3 in the next part of this video series.